Canelo Alvarez recently took down Jaime Munguia in just the fourth round of their middleweight title fight, and fans are already very impatient, awaiting his next showdown, while it's still very vague and unclear who his next opponent is going to be. There's a lot of buzz in the air about a potential Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford, and today we are going to go over some of the pro predictions and speculations from boxing experts and enthusiasts. When asked why he thinks a fight against him would be bigger than Alvarez facing Benavidez, Crawford stated, "You got two of the top fighters of this decade, not just in the past year or so. You got two fighters that's been at the top for 10 years. You got the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and you got the #1 money man. I don't like to overlook anybody. I got a fight coming up August 3, and that's where my main focus is at." Turki Alalshik also told ESPN that he'd like to deliver a Canelo versus Crawford in December of this year or January of the next, saying, "I won't let Crawford sit around another year." Both fighters are now 2 weight classes apart, with Crawford being at 154. But with there being a potential fight, Crawford just might make up for it. Several pros, fans, and boxing enthusiasts have revealed their predictions for the upcoming fight, while also showing concerns about Crawford's weight discrepancy and how it might impact his performance in the ring against Canelo, while many still have their faith in him. Claressa Shields believes that Terence Crawford is the only boxer that she thinks can defeat Canelo if the fight ever happens.
David a different type of animal, but it's a fight I would love to see. And seeing this fight, I still think the only man that can beat Canelo is Terence Crawford. That's just what I think, and I want to see it.
Eddie Hearn recently shared his insights on the potential fight, addressing the many challenges Crawford might have to face against the undisputed Alvarez. "Terence Crawford is a phenomenal talent both in and out of the ring," he said, but he also didn't shy away from pointing out the remarkable height difference between the two fighters. He remarked, "There's no denying Crawford's skill and ability, but he'll be facing a considerable size disadvantage against Canelo. Facing someone like Alvarez is a whole different ball game." He further added that Alvarez has shown a preference for fighting at higher weights, and even if Crawford were to move up, he'd still be at a size disadvantage. Jeff Mayweather believes the same, as he thinks that the weight is something that Crawford has to deal with in order to make this fight.
Well, I mean, two weight classes and what's the name being that I think he could still have some problems with Crawford, but still that weight is something to deal with. And you can't just say that because of Crawford's skills, he can automatically go up to 168 pounds and be the guy that's been doing this for a long time and also been one of the best fighters in the world for a long time. So that's a big jump.
All in all, while Crawford's ambitions and pursuits are undeniable, it doesn't take away the hurdles that he's bound to face in the upcoming showdown. Oscar De La Hoya, another prominent name in the boxing world, stated, "Terence Crawford is an exceptional fighter, but Canelo Alvarez is on another level. Canelo's combination of size, power, and skill makes him a truly formidable opponent." He also commented on the size and power disadvantage that Crawford possesses over Canelo, saying, "Again, I want to say this, again, that it's up to Canelo. He picks his opponents. You know, Canelo has to decide. He holds all the cards, and we respect that." Trying to solidify Canelo's prowess and stature further, he remarked, "Canelo's track record speaks for itself, and facing him would be a significant test for any boxer, including Crawford." De La Hoya concurred that Canelo's size presents a formidable challenge for Crawford, and that this fight might go very uphill for him with many challenges and hurdles that he needs to overcome. And while fans have long been hoping for an encounter between Canelo and David Benavidez, there's a lot of hype and buzz around it. But Canelo made it very clear, just before leaving, that he expects a decent sum of $200 million to compensate for the fight. David responded to this saying,
"To be honest with you, bro, whatever Canelo does, that's on him. I mean, I feel like if he was the baddest, he's saying I'm talking so much, why don't you come shut me up? That's really, if you prove that you're the best and you are the best, what does it cost you getting a $65 million check and showing somebody up that you're better than him? You know what I mean? If he doesn't want to fight me, he doesn't want to shut me up, it's for a reason. I mean, he knows what's up. You know what I mean? And I am the best. You know, all the other guys he's fought is weak. They all have no power. That's why he doesn't want to fight me. I'm the bigger guy. I throw more shots. And I've been here for a long, long time."
David noted that everyone desires to fight Canelo due to the financial rewards it offers, even suggesting that fighters like Inoue might consider moving up to face him. David said, "As for Crawford, he's undeniably skilled, but he needs to be realistic about his chances against significantly larger opponents. Just look at the Charlo versus Canelo fight. Size matters in boxing, and Crawford would face similar challenges against bigger foes." David thinks that he deserves the chance to be Canelo's next opponent, while saying that he acknowledges the potential objections that might come up, and he believes that despite everything, a matchup between Canelo and Crawford will be very interesting in the end, emphasizing that the boxing community needs and anticipates such a showdown, implying that Canelo should face Crawford while still at his best before facing off against much bigger foes. Bob Arum acknowledged his admiration for Crawford's ambition, while also acknowledging the distinct level of skill possessed by Canelo.
What do you think of Crawford-Canelo? There's a lot of talk about that.
I think Canelo wipes the floor with him. I love Crawford. I told you when Crawford and Spence that Crawford would beat the hell out of him, but Canelo is a different proposition. It's an interesting fight, but I think there's only one.
It's pretty clear that both Oscar and Arum are leaning very much towards Canelo, with there being very limited options for Crawford. I can see Canelo imposing his will on Crawford, Arum remarked, envisioning a fight where Canelo's relentless attacks and punches are bound to overwhelm Crawford. While Crawford is undoubtedly a skilled fighter, the magnitude of power and agility that Canelo possesses seems far greater and a significant challenge to overcome, for not just Crawford, but in fact for any known fighter in the boxing world. Terence Crawford doesn't seem too taken up by the prospect of moving up his weight classes, even though it's not something to be taken lightly given the amount of weight gain required, about 20 llbs. While this seems to be a great move for him in terms of money, it has been suggested that Crawford is very reluctant to go beyond 154 lbs. Floyd Mayweather also thinks that Canelo should be tested against a fighter like Benavidez instead. He said, "If it were up to me, we'd want to see Benavidez face Canelo. It's time for Canelo to stop cherry-picking opponents and take on a real threat like Benavidez." He added that, "Benavidez is a hungry lion, and Canelo needs to step up to face him if he wants to prove he's truly the best. I respect Canelo's accomplishments, but dodging Benavidez only raises questions about his willingness to take on real challenges." David seems to echo these sentiments.
I think he's getting put into a corner now where he's running out of excuses. He said that the only thing I bring is 25 extra pounds and I'm not worth nothing, but he's asking 200 million and now he's gonna fight me in the same night. This shit's just stupid, bro. Like, just tell the people you don't want to fight me.
Do you think his hunger is dissipated?
I don't know. I can't talk to you about what his hunger is or how his training is or how he feels. I can only speak to you about myself, but for me, it looks like fear. It looks like fear, like he's scared of me.
He believes that Canelo is trying to potentially avoid Benavidez, stating that, "That's just my take, and I'm entitled to voice it." Voicing fans' opinions, he said, "The desire is clear. Fans want to witness Benavidez versus Canelo. Now it's time to make it happen." Mayweather said, "Fans deserve to see the best fight the best. And right now, that means Benavidez stepping into the ring with Canelo. There's no denying Benavidez's talent and hunger. If Canelo wants to silence the doubters, he needs to face him." Karen Davis also believes that Terence Crawford would face significant challenges in taking on someone of Canelo's caliber. From his own experience, he finds it to be a magnificent challenge for Crawford to face before he can rise above the ranks. Reflecting on his own encounter against Crawford, he said, "Having sparred with Terence Crawford myself, I can attest to his exceptional skill and ring IQ. But let's be real here. Facing someone like Canelo Alvarez is a whole different ballgame. While Crawford is no stranger to overcoming odds, Canelo's size advantage could prove to be a significant hurdle. I'm not saying Crawford doesn't stand a chance, but if I were a betting man, my money would be on Canelo Alvarez to emerge victorious in such a matchup." He added, "Size matters in boxing, and Canelo's got plenty of it. It's not just about skill, it's about physicality too." Bernard Hopkins voices his concerns for Terence Crawford, questioning his decision. He emphasizes Crawford's well-being and benefit, asking what good the fight with Canelo could bring.
Crawford cares about his life. And with that fight, what do that fight do for Canelo fighting Crawford and Crawford beats Canelo? What do that do for Canelo? I just think that there are so many other fights to make that's realistic and makes sense and less life risk.
Bernard further added, "I have serious reservations about Crawford's decision to pursue this fight with Canelo. It's a risky move, and I question the wisdom behind it. As someone who's been in the ring and understands the physical toll it takes, I worry about Crawford's well-being in a matchup against someone like Canelo. What benefit does this fight hold for Crawford? There are plenty of other viable matchups available that don't carry the same level of risk." He observes the shifting trends in the world of boxing, noting that various small-size fighters such as 54 lbs are trying to go against the big one, and in doing so are trying to secure a higher ticket for themselves. They are trying to prove and solidify their place among the best. He remarked, "The landscape of boxing is evolving, with fighters from lower weight classes now aiming to challenge Canelo in much higher weight divisions. It's a testament to Canelo's dominance, but it also raises concerns about the disparity in size. Canelo's ability to compete even in cruiserweight poses a significant challenge to smaller opponents like Crawford. It's a dangerous proposition, and Crawford should carefully weigh his options before committing to such a matchup." But he also added that he, Crawford, has an 85+ chance to beat Canelo. He ain't going to surrender and say, "I'll slow it up so I'ma act like it." No, he has to be shown, and it has to be early. He emphasized that the disparity in size and the potential risks involved in such matchups where Canelo with his ability and skill poses a significant challenge to much smaller-sized opponents is of concern. Andre Ward, on the other hand, expressed concern regarding Canelo's ability to compete against someone like Crawford in the ring. He said, "Crawford's ability to switch stances seamlessly and confuse opponents makes him a unique threat in the ring." While not that much of a supporter of this idea, Ward seems to perceive Crawford as a very skilled and worthy fighter and someone who can take on the challenge against Canelo. He even believes in Crawford's ability to outwit and even defeat the undisputed middleweight champion. Ward expressed, "Canelo's body attack and ability to walk down opponents could nullify Crawford's movement and counterpunching, but that Crawford's ring IQ and ability to make in-fight adjustments could give him an edge against Canelo's power." But he further added, "Canelo's experience against top-level competition could give him a mental edge in a high-pressure fight against Crawford. In a potential matchup, Crawford would need to utilize his jab effectively and keep Canelo at bay to avoid getting overwhelmed by his power." While most of the speculation and predictions are all seemingly going against Crawford and his chances for a win are apparently thin, he no doubt has his strong points that can give him a head start in the upcoming fight against Canelo. It's also very, very clear that the boxing community is thirsty for this epic showdown to unfold. Fans are full of excitement for what is to come, while many of them still have their doubts and reservations. No matter which one of them lands a win, it's not going to be a showdown to miss. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and kindly subscribe to the channel to stay with us.